The models just flipped overnight, and what they're showing now could wreck a lot of weekend plans. Here's the deal. The difference between the forecasts right now is literally 1 inch of snow versus 2 feet. That's not a typo. Same storm, same weekend. Completely different outcomes depending on which model you believe. On top of that, 4.6 million people woke up under critical fire danger, and Michigan is getting slammed with 45 miles per hour winds as we speak. If you live anywhere east of the Rockies, you're going to want to stick around because this one's a doozy. And judging by my DMs this morning, I'm not the only one stressed about this. Y'all have been blowing up my inbox. So let's cut through the noise and break down exactly what's happening and what you actually need to worry about. All right, first things first. Let's talk about the fire situation because this is life or death serious right now. Critical fire weather is blanketing the southern plains, Oklahoma, Texas Panhandle, parts of Missouri, over 4.6 million people in the danger zone. Winds are howling at 20 to 25 miles per hour and humidity has crashed to just 15%. That's tinderbox conditions. Folks, OKC, Tulsa, Amarillo, Springfield, if that's you, I'm begging you, no outdoor burning, no cigarettes, nothing that sparks. One wrong move and you could start a wildfire that takes out entire neighborhoods. We've already seen it happen this week. All right, fire folks, you got your warning. Now let's talk about what the rest of the country is dealing with. The Northeast is a sloppy mess right now. Snow, sleet, freezing rain, the whole nasty winter cocktail. Northern Michigan, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire. You're looking at 3 to 6 inches of fresh snow today. Some spots in the northern plains still getting dumped on from yesterday's system could see 6 to 12 inches when it's all said and done. And that freezing rain in the UP of Michigan and northern Wisconsin, even a thin glaze turns roads into ice rinks. If you've got travel plans through the Great Lakes or interior Northeast today, maybe reconsider, or at least leave stupid early. Winter weather advisories are plastered across this entire region, and they're not messing around. Meanwhile, Southwest Michigan has a wind advisory with gusts hitting 45 miles per hour, enough to snap branches and kill power. So while Oklahoma is literally on fire watch, New England might be measuring snow in feet by Monday. Same country, 2 different planets. Oh, and real quick for my Gulf Coast folks, don't think you're escaping this chaos completely. Later tonight, thunderstorms are clustering up across northern Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, maybe southern Tennessee. Nothing like the crazy severe weather earlier this week, but there's a localized hail threat you should know about. SPC's got a marginal risk on their Day 2 outlook, mainly hail and gusty winds, so just keep one eye on the radar tonight. Okay, now let's get into the thing that's been breaking the weather community's brain all week. This weekend's potential snowstorm, and I gotta be honest, I've rarely seen this much disagreement between the models. Twitter's been going nuts. Weather Twitter is arguing like it's Thanksgiving dinner, and my comments section is pure chaos. So here's the situation. We're 3 days out from a potential major snowstorm and nobody can agree on what's going to happen. The European model says, yeah, there's a storm, but it stays mostly offshore, maybe a few inches for the I-95 corridor. The GFS model looks at the same data and says, nah fam, this thing hugs the coast and dumps 1 to 2 feet on everyone. 1 inch versus 2 feet. Let that sink in for a second because that's genuinely how uncertain this is right now. That's the difference between A, grab a shovel for 10 minutes and cancel everything, you're snowed in until Tuesday. DC, Baltimore, Philly, New York, Boston, if you've got weekend plans, you might want to wait before booking anything. Parents in the Mid-Atlantic, this could very easily turn into a snow day situation Monday, maybe even Tuesday. And for everyone with a Monday morning commute, some of you might be looking at the longest drive of your lives. But here's why this is so incredibly tricky to nail down. And I promise I'm not just making excuses. It all comes down to where this coastal low decides to form and how close it tracks to the shoreline. A 50-mile difference in track, that's it, is the difference between historic blizzard and what storm and guys and wow, like if the low stays offshore like the Euro wants. Most of the heavy snow dumps harmlessly into the Atlantic. But if it hugs the coast like the GFS is screaming about, we're talking potential blizzard conditions for tens of millions. Now here's something that actually gives me hope we'll figure this out soon. The National Weather Service flew the hurricane hunters into the energy that's going to become this storm. They basically said, the models can't agree, let's get some actual data in there and see what happens. And guess what? After that fresh data got plugged in, a bunch of models bounced northwest. Northwest means closer to the coast, which means more snow for more people. That's a big deal if it holds. The European model has been slowly inching toward a snowier solution too. A few days ago, it showed basically nothing. Now it's at least showing a moderate event, so the trend is definitely heading in the more snow direction. But, and this is a big but, we've been burned by this exact setup multiple times this winter. How many times have we seen models hype up a big storm and then poof, it just vanishes at the last second? So yeah, we're still stuck in that 1 inch versus 2 feet limbo, and honestly, that's what makes this so frustrating. The setup is absolutely there for a major East Coast snowstorm though. All the ingredients are in place. We've got Arctic air that's going to be firmly locked in over the eastern U.S. by Sunday. Cold air plus coastal low development, that's literally the recipe that's made historic blizzards before. West Virginia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, Jersey, New York, all potentially in the bullseye. Interior areas especially could get hammered if the models verify on the snowier end of things. Let me break down what this could mean for specific cities because I know that's what y'all really want to hear. Washington, D.C. You're right on the rain-snow line. Could go either way. But if it trends colder, you're looking at significant accumulation. Baltimore, slightly better positioning for snow than D.C. Interior suburbs especially could see the higher totals. Philly, you're in the sweet spot if this thing comes together. Models that verify snow are showing you getting crushed. New York City. The city itself might mix with rain at times, but north and west of the city could be a foot plus easy. Boston. You might be on the northern edge of the heaviest snow, but you're still definitely in play for impacts. And for everyone in between, Hartford, Providence, Albany, Pittsburgh, you're all on the board for this one. The interior areas from the Appalachians through the Poconos into the Catskills could see the jackpot totals if this verifies. Alright, so what do you actually do with all this uncertainty? Here's my honest advice. Don't panic, but don't ignore it either. This is a stay flexible kind of weekend. If you've got outdoor plans Sunday or Monday, have a backup. If you're traveling, watch the forecasts like a hawk. Maybe do a quick supply run this weekend, not doomsday prepping. Just grab some extra batteries, food, phone chargers. The good news is by tomorrow, we should have a much clearer picture of what's actually going to happen. The short-range models like the NAM, HRRR, and RGEM are about to come into range for this system. Those high-resolution models are way better at nailing down details when we're this close to an event. So, tomorrow's update. That's going to be the one that actually tells you whether to cancel your plans or not. Let me give you the quick day-by-day breakdown so you know exactly what's coming and when. Today, Friday the 20th, fire danger owns the plains. Wintry mess continues across the Northeast and Great Lakes. Travel through those areas is going to be sketchy all day. So plan accordingly or just stay put if you can. Tonight, Gulf Coast thunderstorms pop up. Keep an ear out if you're in Mississippi, Alabama, or Georgia. Saturday the 21st, things quiet down briefly while Arctic air starts filtering in from the north. This is your last chance to prep before Sunday if the snow materializes. Use it wisely. Sunday into Monday, main event window for the potential East Coast snowstorm. This is when we find out the truth. Monday the 23rd could be cold, like single digits in Iowa, Nebraska, Wisconsin cold. Below zero wind chills likely in the Dakotas and northern Minnesota, proper don't go outside weather. Now zooming out to the bigger picture because this active pattern isn't going anywhere soon. There's a big ridge of high pressure camping out over the southwest pumping in mild air out there. But the northern and eastern U.S. frequent cold fronts are going to keep smacking us with shots of Arctic air. The European model is already showing another winter storm or two possible as we head into early March. So if you're thinking winter is wrapping up, nah, not even close, especially for the Great Lakes in New England. Here's something interesting for the weather nerds. We're transitioning from La Nina to neutral ENSO conditions. That means the subtropical jet is about to wake up and start pumping Gulf moisture into the Mississippi Valley. Translation: more dynamic storm systems, snow and ice to the north, severe weather outbreaks to the south. March is shaping up to be a wild ride. Tornado season might kick off earlier and angrier than usual. All right, I want to hear from you now because your comments literally shape how I make these videos. Where are you watching from today, Fire Zone in the Plains wintry mess in the Northeast? Or are you on the East Coast refreshing the models every 6 hours like a crazy person? No judgment, I do it too. Drop your city in the comments. I read every single one and might shout out your area tomorrow. And tell me what you want more of. City-specific forecasts, more model deep dives, longer range outlooks. Your feedback is gold, so don't be shy. Let me know what's actually helpful for you. All right, quick action items based on where you live because I want you to actually be prepared. Fire zone folks, I'm dead serious. No burning, no sparks. Know your evacuation routes just in case. Wintry mix areas, slow down on the roads. Black ice is sneaky and it will wreck your whole day. East Coast people, don't panic yet, but maybe grab some supplies this weekend just to be safe. Gulf Coast with storms tonight. Have a way to get warnings. Don't sleep through any alerts. All right, here's the bottom line, because I know I just threw a ton of info at you. Fire danger is the immediate threat in the plains. 4.6 million people need to be extremely careful today. Wintry mix is making travel miserable across the Northeast and Great Lakes. Drive safe or don't drive at all. Gulf Coast has some overnight storm action, not crazy, but worth monitoring. And that weekend snowstorm still stuck between 1 inch and 2 feet. That's genuinely how uncertain this is. The trends are nudging toward snow, though, so if you're a snow lover, there's definitely reason for hope. But this situation is evolving fast. The models update every 6 hours and everything could flip by morning. Real talk. Tomorrow's models are going to change everything we think we know about this weekend. If you're not subscribed with notifications on, you might wake up Sunday to a blizzard warning you didn't see coming. And while everyone else is scrambling to prep, you'll be stuck playing catch-up. Hit subscribe, tap that bell. Tomorrow I'll have actual answers instead of all this, maybe that. The high-res models come into range overnight, and that's when we'll finally know what we're dealing with. 1 inch or 2 feet by tomorrow's video. We'll finally have the answer. Drop your city in the comments. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you tomorrow with the verdict. No more guessing, just answers. Be here.